Does anyone else think that this was the most impatient 6 months or the longest 6 months Resident Evil fans have been through? One thing that honestly blew my mind was when this DLC is coming out, which is next week on September 21st, which a lot of us didn't expect it to be so early, and thought it was going to be early 2024, but the thing was is that it was all predictions because, man, I am very excited for this. So for today's video, I will be breaking down the full trailer of the DLC, along with some interesting things that have been added that the original didn't get. So before we get into this video, be sure to leave a like on it as it helps to reach the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, before we actually get into it, Separate Ways will be $10 while the VR version and the mercenary updates for the game will be free of charge. So that's not too bad at all. That's actually pretty good. One thing I will say is that on how I love this trailer started is the fact that they redded the words "another way," which completely gave away the hint that it was going to be Separate Ways, since you guys know that the Japanese version of the game, it's titled The Another Way instead of Separate Ways. It's actually Another Order, Logan, you dumb fuck. I am loving the environment in this trailer. It does showcase Ada being on top of, I am assuming, the tower as to where the bell is, where she was ringing it, or something else like that. Wesker's lazy ass finally got up off of that chair, so I'm very excited to see that, and I'm assuming that is going to be like an end credit scene or an end post credit scene for Separate Ways or something like that. The rest of this stuff was showcasing some gameplay trailers and some old enemies returning, while returning to some same old environments that we experienced in the remake. Ada and Luis will probably be more together in cutscenes, which I would not be surprised, as that would be a really nice expansion. And something new that I do want to talk about, which I am assuming that everyone is talking about, is the fact that Ada is now also infected with the Plaga, which wasn't a thing in the original game and now will be in the remake. It's funny because I made a video not too long ago talking about Jill, Claire, and Rebecca not aging due to either the viruses that were injected into them or for the sake of their appeal, and I ended up saying this particular thing in that video, and this was from last week. But if this is the excuse of keeping the women characters in future RE titles younger, I think this is just lazy and weird. Because at this point, I'm waiting for Ada to get infected with a virus. Now, is this going to be the way that where they're going to keep Ada around the same age, I guess, for about 20 years? Probably not, because a Plaga and a virus are two completely different things, and I don't think Leon has aged at all since the infection of the Lost Plagas. So, it could just be a minor setback, and there could be a chapter or two covering about Ada being infected and enduring the Plaga. So I guess if we are putting the remake timeline into consideration as canon, it seems like everybody, including the main four and Rebecca and Ethan, have all been infected with a virus or a Plaga. So that is pretty damn hilarious in a little bit of a way. And the Mercenaries update will finally be free, and I'm beyond excited for that. And we all did expect something to be updated within that realm of Mercenaries, I guess, with Ada and Wesker and possibly more weapons loadouts. I heard there was a rumor that there is going to be a difficulty setting for the Mercenaries, so we'll see what happens next week. So another thing that I do want to touch on is the price for this. It's only $10, so I don't think shouldn't be too much of a big complaint. I mean, I don't think it's really hard to make at least $10 measly to pay for this DLC. I think if you guys are necessarily complaining about it being $10, then I don't know, maybe get a job or something. But knowing this is more than half of the price of the Shadows of Rose DLC is pretty interesting, because Separate Ways by no means is this super long campaign. I'm not really expecting it to be super long either. I'm expecting my first playthrough to be maybe 2 to 3 hours, and it would be pretty satisfying for that to happen, while the Shadows of Rose DLC might have been around the same duration, but in overall, it was a pretty big fucking DLC. On top of that, you had to pay for, the Shadows of Rose DLC, the additional orders of the Mercenaries characters, which is very similar with 4 Remake. There was also a third-person mode that you had to pay for if you couldn't stand the first-person mode, of course. But that shit was $30. This is at least half of it, or more than half. So that's a good thing for us. And to know that it's coming out next week, so you don't really have to wait for too long to play this, and I'm actually really, really glad. So now they are getting 4 Remake out of the way for 2023, and more so, we don't know what's going to happen with 2024, whether if it comes to another remake, which could be Resident Evil 5 Remake, Code Veronica Remake, Resident Evil 9, a spin-off game, hopefully Revelations 3, I'm still continuing to hope on that. We shall see what happens then, but that is way ahead into the future, and I will be making a few other videos talking about that stuff. But overall, for this breakdown trailer, I'm just I'm really excited, and I'm just glad that it's showing up, and I'm glad to know that it was legit real, even though that there was a ton of evidence to back it up that it was real to begin with. Also, another thing that I do want to say is that Lily Gal definitely sounds majorly improved. I think the audio quality is a lot better. Her first performance, which was RE4's main story, it got a lot of backlash, but you can only improve after your first performance, and it's been like that for how many voice actors now? I hope the U3 boss fight is in this DLC, and I also hope that the Plaga removal laser is also going to be an unlockable. I don't know if there's necessarily going to be a professional type of game mode or a difficulty setting for Separate Ways, but again, there's only one way to find out, and also there will be a gameplay trailer dropping on September 18th, so keep your eyes out on that. Anyways, guys, that is the end of the breakdown trailer and my initial reaction to the Separate Ways reveal trailer. If you enjoyed, hit the like button to help this reach the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. As always, I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.